In this video, we're going to look at how to process a job sheet in GarageHive. So this is after the technician's clocked off the job, what you need to do to process the job to a state that's ready for collection, and then how you take payment, and then how you post the document. And in the second half of the video, we're just going to look at some of the features from actually within a job sheet as well. So once the technician's clocked off a job, you're going to get this red tile here called Job Sheets Complete. This doesn't necessarily mean that the work is complete. It simply means that the technician's clocked off the job. So as an advisor or a controller, you've got to try and establish whether the customer needs contacting to let them know the vehicle's ready, or whether you need to gain some additional authorization. So just going to go ahead and open this tile. Open the job sheet up. So because the reporting is quite important in GarageHive, we need to make sure that certain things are done within a job sheet to make sure the reports remain accurate. So a couple of these things are down by the lines of the job sheet. The first one being, we've got to tell the system who's done what particular part of the job. So you might have several technicians clock onto one job. They could be doing particular labour lines each, or they could be doing the same labour line, i.e. we could have had two technicians working on replace near side rear coil spring. So I'm going to show a couple of methods into how you distribute this labour amongst the technicians. So you'll have a resources column here. If you select the resources column and click the three dots, you go through to a place where you can assign a technician to the resources. Now you have the facility, like I said, to actually split. For the MOT, we're going to have it just as one single technician. So we'll say technician 1 did 100% of this job. And you see his name appear here. On this line, we're actually going to split this between two technicians. So we're going to say technician 1 did 75% and technician 2 did 25%. So you can see it's awarded to technician 1 and technician 2. Now on the items, you don't actually have to award them to the technician. It's only the labour lines that you need to. Now there's a clever place in the system under process called add resources to lines. So if you don't add this information manually, you can press this button and the system is going to suggest the way to allocate the labour. So if I just press this button, it's going to remove what we've just done, but that's fine. So just press yes. And this is a demo, so it looks odd because the tech's been clocked onto the job for 81 hours. But what this would show you would be all the technicians that have clocked onto this job, the amount of hours, and what contribution that they've resulted in from 100%. So if I just press OK here, you'll see it's modified these resources and brought them back through to just a single tech at 100% on both the lines. So that's the first thing you need to do. You need to distribute the labour. It's really important because of the efficiency reports. The next thing you need to do is understand what's actually in stock. Because if you've got any items on a job sheet that aren't in stock, if you've got stock control switched on, then you're not going to be able to process the document. So we see here we've got this coil spring part number here. If we click this down arrow, we can see we've got two of these in stock. If we look at this tyre, click the down arrow, see we've got nothing in stock. Now I didn't need to do this to understand that because we have this column here. And this column is called a check column. This will inform you if there are any errors on the items on any particular document. So without actually checking the stock, I could see that there was already an error here because of this symbol here. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this tyre off the job. So that's the tyre gone. So at this point, I'm happy the labour's built up. I'm happy we've got the retail prices set, and I'm happy that this is the price the customer is going to pay. So I change it from a finished state to a ready state. And if I go back to the home page, you'll see that it's gone from here into now job sheets ready for collection. So you've contacted the customer and you've informed them that the vehicle is ready for collection, and now you're just awaiting for the customer to arrive. So once the customer arrives, you go to your job sheets ready for collection tile. You'll have your list of jobs that are ready for collection here. Open the job up. From this point, you need to enter a mileage. You will be warned. So it should never get to this state without a mileage in. When the technician clocks off the job, they're going to be warned that no mileage has been entered. So in this case, we're just going to enter a mileage here. The next stage is to go to payments and posting. Well, actually, you've got 2 steps to this depending on how you want to operate as a business. So what you could do at this point is actually print an invoice off. So from print and send, you could select print invoice and have the actual printed invoice ready for when the customer arrives. So this is just ready to print off. When the customer turns up, you don't need to print the invoice. You just need to take payment and then post the document. What a lot of companies do is not actually print the invoice until the customer's paid. So customer stood in front of you, you simply go take payment, and this is like a till function. So you just select, we'll say £50 on card and £60.87 in cash, for example. You see the balance goes down to 0 here. So we close that down, and that's ready for posting now. So in Garage Hive, the term posting means posting to the ledgers. This is how your Power BI reporting is going to work and understand what your revenue is that day, what your efficiencies are that day, etc. If they're not an account customer and you haven't taken a payment, then you cannot post this document. So if you've already printed the invoice out, how I said earlier, you would at this point just post the document. If you haven't, you now have the facility to post and print, or the facility to post an email. At this point, the document would post, close down, print an invoice off, and that's the end of the job. That's that job complete. So that is how you process a job in Garage Hive. Just to confirm, you must assign the technician resources. They must equal 100%, and you must have every item in stock for you to be able to actually send, to actually post a document. So now we know how to post a job sheet. We're just going to run through some of the features before we post a job sheet, just some of the things that we can do. So under process here, if you select schedule, it opens the schedule to display that job. So just a nice quick tip for you. At the point the job sheet's open, you can split the document. So if we select split document, we select what we want to split, and it will actually create a new document for us, which is another nice feature. You can create an estimate from a job sheet. So at this point, I could select coil spring, go to actions and create, and it would remove the coil spring from the job sheet and apply it to an estimate. For multi-location garages, you can actually organize transfer orders from within a job sheet. So if you're doing inter-branch stock transfers, so either sending parts away or receiving parts, that can be done from within a job sheet as well. You can print pro forma invoices or invoices. You can email invoices as well. Another feature is contacting the customer. So if you've got a VoIP phone, you can use the button next to the mobile phone number to initiate a call to your VoIP phone. You can also send an SMS as well. So if we select SMS, apply text templates, you can just apply a template to send to your customer as well. You can view what's known as time registration entries. So this will actually show you all of the time logs on a particular job. Again, this one looks odd because it's demo data, but you get the idea. You can view schedule allocation entries, so you can actually see all the times this job is allocated to the schedule and the current status as well. So if a technician is still clocked onto a job or still has it on hold, again, you're not going to be able to post the document. You're going to get an error stating that resource allocations must be finished. This is where you identify what is still in progress or on hold. From here, you select the one you want to go to navigate, allocation, show and schedule. And again, it will open the schedule to show that particular allocation. So you could have loads of these. I mean, it's not uncommon to have 10 allocations for a single job. You've got your attachments, which we're all aware of. So a couple more features. Go down to invoicing. This is where you would set payment terms. So if it's an account customer, or let's say you just want to give payment terms to a single invoice, this is where you would apply payment terms to the document. You notice that these are called fast tabs, and you can actually open and close these to extend the options, but you see that it actually puts some of the shortcuts here as well. So further on, if we go to invoice print options, this is where we can set how we want the invoice to display to a customer. So for example, if I want to hide labor quantity and unit price and have the line layout as standard, if we look at what this looks like now, so I go to print invoice, you can see that the labor lines are missing. The labour quantity is missing, sorry, so the customer can only see the total value. If we look at another option where we group the lines by line type but still hide the labour quantity and unit price, and look again. Again, the labours are missing the quantities, but the parts are displaying the quantities. So it just stops customers from questioning the hours that you're charging. So that's some of the features in GarageHive's GarageHive's Jobsheet, and also how to actually process and post a document to the ledgers. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Thank you.